Party foul is an act of unacceptable behavior at a party or other social gathering. And if you do a Google search on common party fouls, some of the answers will include showing up at a party you weren't invited to, parking in an odd spot and blocking a driveway, getting a little too drunk, chugging straight from the bottle, getting naked, and perhaps the worst party foul of all, snagging someone else's drink. That can be deadly. Let's solve the After Party, Season 2, Episode 8, Feng. We'll be breaking down each episode for clues, suspects, and red herrings on the hunt to learn who killed Edgar the Groom and Roxana the Lizard. Who killed them? Spoilers for the first season and the first 8 episodes of Season 2 of the After Party. Pause this video, show the world that you're not just a ham. And no, Travis, not that kind of ham. But show them you can act. Then come back after you've watched these episodes. Through these first 8 episodes of Season 2, we have seen so much information, but we were always waiting for a final piece to fall into place, to have this season's mystery make any sense. Why has this season's mystery been such a mess? Well, perhaps because Hannah and Grace are still lying about something. Omitting something from their testimony. When they finally come clean, that'll probably help us as viewers get the solution. But perhaps the biggest reason why this season's mystery has been so messy? In Season 1, we knew all the characters' possible motives for killing Xavier. This season, based on what we've seen in the show, a number of the suspects don't really have a clear or logical motive to kill Edgar or Roxana. So as we run down the suspects this week, let's spend special attention to the established motives on the show. And after episode 8, perhaps that's the key. Without clear motives to kill Edgar and Roxana, as detectives, should we be looking at other motives that characters might have to do evil things? I know some of you watch these videos and listen to this podcast as a way to help yourself solve the mystery. So I don't want to spoil the entire mystery for you. So at the end of this video, at the end of this podcast, after we review your feedback, we're going to start putting most of these pieces together. And we're going to name the culprit, who at this point is 90%, maybe 95%, maybe 100% Edgar and Roxana's killer. We'll also talk about all the outstanding mysteries and maybe also cover the 10% chance why this is a fake out from the show producers. Okay, let's look at this week's bonus clue. Now let's review the bonus clues we've seen before. In episode 1, we learned the killer was not the snorer. In this episode, Aunt Ruth snores. Everybody take Aunt Ruth off your suspect card. In episode 2, we learned it wasn't the skater. Kyler, you're clear. Episode 3, not by suicide. Episode 4, not Colonel. Episode 5, not camel's milk. Episode 6, not by a team. Episode 7, not the DJ. Judson, you're in the clear. How do you solve this week's not the clue? Look at the times on Kyler's video. The 14th letter of the alphabet is N. The 15th letter of the alphabet is O. Go all the way through. What are you going to get? Not the spitter. So everybody who did suspect Aniq, take him off your suspect list. Before we run down the suspects, let's look at what episode 8 taught us about the victim, Edgar and Roxana. On the day of the wedding, Edgar was doing his morning laps in the pool, next to a danger no swim sign. Danger no swim is an anagram for what? Edgar minnows. During the swim, Roxana is on a donut float. Precious. Something about Ulysses' instrument really touches Edgar. What do you think it is? Now, Edgar, at the after party, he is stone cold. He did not like Bao Bing. Ouch. But also at the after party, there are 2 identical drinks in front of Edgar, his and Feng's. Feng appears to take the wrong drink, Edgar's drink with the Adderall. Edgar was left with the wrong drink, a drink he shared with Roxana in Hannah's telling of the after party. I say it every week. We love your comments, we love your likes, and if you could subscribe, it'd do so much wonders for us. On YouTube, that evil YouTube algorithm pretty much requires us to get you to subscribe and to like and comment every single video we put out. So if you've enjoyed these after party videos, I need you to like each one, I need you to comment on each one. Do it for the algorithm gods. Now let's look at the suspects. Aniq. Aniq did not have a motive. We could try to pretend to make up a motive in our heads, Aniq could have been jealous of Edgar's success in making him look like a poor catch compared to Grace's husband being a great catch. Yada yada yada. Aniq didn't really have a motive, right? Aniq's flashback proved he's an unreliable narrator. He dropped the tea cozy immediately upon seeing his car rolling backward. His car barely hit the Baobing truck. Is it possible other things in Aniq's telling are wrong? Like, for example, maybe Uncle Ulysses' long shower really wasn't that long. Feng, the father of the bride. The motive for Feng would be Edgar revealing Grace's parentage, and or Edgar threatening his wife Vivian, and or Edgar being a terrible husband for his daughter Grace. Now, the one thing that stands out about all this, if Feng really does have a murderous bone in his body, why didn't he murder his half-brother when he found out his half-brother had been sleeping with his wife? Plus, does Feng think his daughter Grace loves Edgar? If he does, I don't think he could kill him. Now let's look at Feng on episode 8. Like the Fast and the Furious movies, Feng did it for his family. Feng is in dire straits. His truck gets repossessed during the rehearsal dinner. And according to Feng, he actually left the rehearsal dinner because of his truck, not because his half-brother Ulysses showed up. He needs almost $500,000 investment to get out of this trouble. Did he know about the prenup? If he did know about the prenup, that's another motive to kill Edgar. But if he didn't, he would want Edgar alive. He needs a loan to save his business. This episode proved that Feng did watch the first dance, but Ulysses stepped up quicker than he did to fill in for Edgar once the groom left. During Zoe's speech, it was Feng's shaved ice ribbon machine that caused that terrible noise. Now, according to Feng, it's always been about Vivian. On that trip to Taiwan a few years back, she fell in love with Baobing, and it was her idea, not her husband's, to open up the shop. Now, this after party we always have to watch close. Here is Feng getting the drink from Ulysses. Here's Feng putting the drink down on the table in front of Edgar. Here's Feng accidentally, or maybe not accidentally, picking up the wrong drink and leaving. Feng claims he was up all night, probably because he grabbed that wrong drink that was loaded with Adderall. Grace, the bride. Grace's motive is that she really loves Hannah, but of course with that motive, in the end she didn't actually have to go through with the wedding and marry Edgar, and she certainly didn't have to marry him and then kill him. You could have said no to the vows. So if Grace has a motive to kill Edgar, it would be inheriting all of his money because she didn't sign the prenup. But so far through 8 episodes, Grace hasn't come across as a character really motivated by money. Does Grace have any other motive? What do you think? There were a couple of new moments with Grace in episode 8. She enjoyed Baobing with her mother, Vivian, in the reception. And in the present timeline, Grace admitted she's in love with Hannah. For the happy ending, do we need Hannah to be innocent? What do you think? Hannah Cornelia Minnows, the groom's sister who, guess what, was, say it with me, adopted. Hannah's motive, and the only one we can really see through 8 episodes, is she was jealous of her brother. Her brother took something she loved, something she wanted. A bit like her brother took Sebastian's baseball card. Now, Hannah also claims that she loved her brother. Can you kill somebody and still love them? In Hannah's telling, she asked Kyler to film her at the rehearsal dinner. But in this version, we see that he just filmed her by chance, and she looked hella depressed. Isabel, the mother of the groom. No clear motive that I can see for Isabel through 8 episodes. Now, she is in the spotlight for next week's episode, so we may learn a motive then, but that's pretty late to be learning of a motive. In Kyler's video, we see Isabel staring out the window on that day before the wedding. There's a painting of Alexander Minnows behind her on a wall. Later, at the reception, Isabel confronts her son Edgar. "I'm on to your games, Edgar." In the present timeline, Isabel is ready to get rid of that suit of armor, which she ordered, maybe? Later, she flushes down what we believe are blue Adderall pills down the toilet. Now that Edgar's dead, does she not need them anymore? Sebastian Drapewood, the best man. Sebastian's motive would be greed, money, but the tricky thing about Sebastian, he is greedy, he does love money, but at least in the story he told to Detective Danner and to Aniq, almost everything in his story is corroborated by things we learned in other characters' stories. Does that mean Sebastian created a great cover, or that he's innocent? A new moment with Sebastian in this episode is at the reception. Possibly he's celebrating getting his beloved baseball card back because he forgot his diet and continued to enjoy the bao bing. Travis Gladrise. Motive? Well, Travis's motive could be he was jealous over losing Grace. Or he could be anger that Grace dumped him and he wants to frame her for motive. Kyler's videos prove that Travis was truthful about offering the waiter a couple of hams at the rehearsal dinner. Travis also wants to be part of the sleuthing team. Come on, guys, let him in there. Uncle Ulysses, the Bunkle. The motive for him would be to protect the woman he loved, Vivian, and or protect the daughter he loved, Grace. For unclear reasons, Ulysses gives Edgar this musical instrument. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, an agoni? I would assume Ulysses is passing off a machine-made instrument as something he made. At the after party, let's once again look at this close-up of Ulysses handing Feng the drink that will accidentally be switched. The morning after the wedding, this is the first time we really focus on this timeline other than in Travis's episode. We hear Grace scream. Someone ran away from Grace's bedroom, in Travis's telling. Was that person Uncle Ulysses, who suddenly appears at Vivian and Feng's door awfully quick? Was he already in the main house? Hadn't he spent another night outside underneath the stars? Vivian, the mother of the bride. Her motive was that Edgar was threatening to reveal her secret to her daughter, and she wouldn't want that out there. Vivian is a strong, silent type. She really refuses to say anything back to Aniq. But she does pull both her daughters into her bedroom to talk about the might-as-well-have-been incest affair with Uncle Ulysses. We did get that extra shot of Vivian enjoying bao bing with Grace at the reception. And as mentioned earlier, the bao bing business was her idea. Zoe, the bride's sister. Zoe's motive would be that she didn't want her sister Grace to end up in a miserable marriage like she did with Brent. Is that enough of a motive? I mean, Zoe went through a divorce. She knows that a divorce is much cleaner and simpler than murder. Zoe's speech was interrupted by her father Feng's ice maker. She wasn't seen in any of Kyler's social media videos after she left the reception. Now, we're going to talk about how these clues might come together to reveal a killer later, but first, let's get to your feedback. On Facebook, Jessica wrote, Episode 7, Ulysses was the best episode by far. Jessica continued, not been a huge fan of this season, but sticking around, I'm hoping it gets better. Great actors, good plot, just not happy with the writing. Also, I was so excited when I heard my favorite group, Secret Garden's music being played. Well, Jessica, I don't know. I do think Season 1 was a bit more fun, but I think Season 2 is still good. What do you guys want to say to Jessica? Is she right? Is she wrong? What do you think of Season 2? On Twitter, Alex wrote, I'm now thinking it's between Hannah or Travis in regards to who killed Edgar. If Hannah's innocent, then it's possible the additional secret that she and Grace have been keeping is that they intended to flee away with each other after the wedding. On YouTube, Jenga Tower wrote, this is probably just the casting, but I think the actress who plays Grace looks an awful lot like the actor who plays Feng, which makes me doubtful that Ulysses is the father. Temmie wrote, given the fact that Ulysses just glossed over some of the scenes, like, for example, what was he doing in that really long shower the morning of the wedding? And he glossed over still being in love with Vivian, I now think it's Ulysses. Phoebe Creations wrote, I want Zoe to be the killer because I'm not enjoying her character at all. And Write What You Noah wrote, great video as always. Travis obviously did it. Thematically, the killer has to be someone Aniq, Danner, and Zoe can all stand around and point out clues over the course of the season as details that everybody missed. Travis is the only character that those three have consistently interacted with while the show tries to never point him out directly. Love your theories. Really like this last one from Write What You Noah. Guys, we're 80% done. We only really have one more week to figure out who killed Edgar. Let's do it. Okay, let's put these clues together. Ulysses poured a glass of whiskey that he thought he was giving to his half-brother Feng, but in Feng's rush to get to Edgar to try this delicious bao bing, he apparently accidentally switched glasses with Edgar. Edgar ended up with the drink that Ulysses created, and he shared that with Roxana in Hannah's telling. The next thing we know happened is he started acting funny and he died. That implies that the poison was in the glass that Feng had. Did Feng put it in himself when he got rejected by Bao Bing? Or did Ulysses put it in the drink? But of course, if Ulysses put the poison into the glass, he had no idea that Edgar would get it. Therefore, the poison would be for an intended target of his half-brother Feng. Last week, it was obvious that Ulysses was trying to point the blame at his brother Feng for Edgar's death. You know the answer to this. Well, why would Ulysses want to poison his half-brother? Well, it'd be to get rid of a romantic rival and reunite him with the woman he loved, Vivian. Again, when Grace screams the next morning, somebody ran past her room. She's screaming and somebody ran past it and instead went to Vivian's room. Is this a look of shock of Ulysses seeing Feng still alive? Now hold on, you might be saying. In the infamous happy ending theory, we mentioned that it wouldn't be possible to have a happy ending if someone in Zoe or Grace's family had committed the murder. You couldn't have a happy ending then. Well, the show may have solved that dilemma by making Bunkle Ulysses a villain who's been trying to destroy that family. So therefore his capture will be a happy ending for the family. But what about Isabel's sadness over the death of her only child, her son Edgar? Well, this next part is pure speculation. But doesn't it seem that the show is hinting this? Now imagine after Alexander Minos died, all the Minos family money went to his wife Isabel, and her son, who is desperate for money because he's funding crypto through fake shell companies, maybe he wants that money, and so he's trying to make his mother declared insane so he could gain control of the wealth, and he's drugging her. Now that wouldn't make Isabel want her son to die, but she might be glad to be free of his drugging. Then you get to Hannah, whose sadness over losing her brother might be mitigated by finding true love with Grace. Travis would be happy because he helped solve a case. Sebastian would be happy because he sold all his crypto before Edgar's death was revealed. Now this isn't 100% solid, but there are some questions that this still makes you wonder. Well, why did Edgar seek out and find Ulysses? And the question would be, are we sure that he actually did? Yes, Sebastian said he did, but we never really heard Edgar take credit for it. And everything in Ulysses' story could be fake. In fact, are we sure that Ulysses and Vivian's affair was a true long affair or just a couple-night fling? Now there's also the fact that Edgar appears to blackmail Vivian, but we don't really know what he was blackmailing her about. It's implied that it's about Ulysses, but couldn't it be anything? The way this theory goes is Edgar and Roxana's death would be a tragic accident. A killer didn't try to kill them. And is a murder mystery satisfying if it's an accidental killing and not a true killing? Now, Agatha Christie did this a whole lot, where an accidental victim would be killed, but the killer would still have the motive to kill their intended victim, and so several chapters down the line, another murder might occur, right? Well, the after party being focused on the day after the murder, I'm not sure there's enough real time for Ulysses to once again to try to take out Feng. What do you guys think? Do you believe this theory? 1 week left. Let's hear it. Talk to you next week on Isabel's episode of The After Party.